So why don't we go ahead and get started, Jason, if you want to just go to the next slide.
Absolutely. Thanks, everybody.
So anyways, everybody, thanks for joining. I know that there's some people, we had this meeting last week and we ran into some technical difficulties. So I know some of you were in that meeting, and thanks for your patience and coming back to join us. I think you're really going to get some benefit out of this this meeting with us today. A little bit about us for anybody who doesn't know who Admiral Consulting Group is. We're a Microsoft AI cloud solution provider. And, so we offer the Dynamics 365 business applications. And also we're a managed services provider, and that's for IT related services. So, we're here to help if you guys run into any problems that are Microsoft related, or if you're working on any new project initiatives, we're here to help you as well. A little bit about AI. It's certainly everybody's talking about AI these days, and Microsoft is now an AI first company, so they're making it really clear that their investment is in AI these days, and they're pouring everything, most of the money into AI. Obviously, they still invest in their business applications and their other productivity applications, but they're really focused on being an AI first company. And really, 2026 is supposed to be the year of adoption for AI. Specifically, companies are going to start using AI as it's intended to do, with strategic use. A business is going to look at AI and determine how can it help each department? What do we need to do in each department to gain efficiencies? And you're able to leverage AI and use that, by creating agents. And don't let all this, agent word scare you. It's just another term for a custom application. So Jason will talk a little bit more about that. And I don't know if anybody's currently using Copilot, but when you leverage Copilot with all your productivity apps like Outlook and Word and Excel and Teams and PowerPoint, you get to leverage all your data. So that's a really powerful technology to use. You can search across all your data in your company in those applications, and it makes life more productive, a little bit more easier for you. So we're here to help you begin your AI journey, and I'll turn it over to Jason. He's a trusted partner of Admiral, and he knows AI strategy and Copilot readiness, and he's here to guide you through some practical examples.
Yes, this is going to be interactive. Thank you, Dan, for that introduction. And my credentials are here. I don't want to dwell on them because I really want to get to the meat of all of this, where you can actually try out some of these prompts inside the tools available to you. So we're going to level set everybody to start. We'll start with foundational concepts about artificial intelligence, what works, what doesn't, what you're doing when you're inserting your data in different places, and where it's protected. And then we want to get into actually using Copilot's features in action, some practical applications, and we're going to zero in on a couple use cases around the customer lifecycle. Then we want to step into the agents that Dan was talking about. We're going to build an agent from scratch for manufacturing, and then we might go, depending on how much time we have, we might go and actually visit into Copilot Studio, where you can really start to put these agents to work for your workflows. And then we want to make sure that we address all of your questions so that if you have them, don't be shy. Go ahead, drop them into meeting chat. We're keeping an eye on that on our monitors, or raise your hand and maybe we'll unmute you and you can ask your question right there. That's no big deal. But definitely by the end of this hour, we will tie everything off for you. Do not just sit back and watch. I'd encourage you to try things out, because the way that we've structured this is so that you can actually get started with Copilot inside of your tools. So as we take that step back and try to level set everybody, what I wanted to do first was just talk to briefly these functions and use them in comparison to other tools that are out there. Copilot, as you know, is this AI-powered productivity assistant. Its capabilities are generated by using large language models, not just one of them, but multiple ones. And the relationship that it has, that Microsoft has had with OpenAI, brings these models fresh off the factory floor right into your account where you can start to use them. ChatGPT 5, Dolly 3 for image generation. There's all types of these that are made available. And all of it, of course, is served to you through natural language prompts. And as you do have access to the internet, like other tools, you can go out and query what's going on. What are the top sources out there for whatever your prompt has to relate to? But also, more importantly, now you can access the entire Microsoft graph, which is the entirety of your data, all your emails, all your meetings, all your documents, everything that is inside of your account. The chat message you sent to Mark on Friday, it's in there, and it can reference all of this, your contacts, and it puts all of this inside working context so that as you're using AI, using Copilot kind of on the side of your application, it's dipping down into that document or pulling from others to generate new content for you. And all of this is exposed in the Microsoft 365 applications. Dan mentioned Outlook and Word and Excel, PowerPoint. You'll also see it inside of Microsoft Teams, where it can analyze your meetings and answer questions for you in the middle of your client meetings. These are fabulous. The meeting summary and note taking that it does. What's the general consensus of our client inside of this meeting? And you can get some ideas based on what they've said. So lots of good contextual inferences that can make from all of that content, generating for you accurate, relevant, and responsible responses. So it's going to, of course, surface all this. And I think the best way to illustrate exactly how it illustrates it up is to, let's go ahead and try this out. I'm going to encourage you to open ChatGPT. I'm going to do ChatGPT on one side. I'm going to do Microsoft on the other. But here we go. Let's just grab the ChatGPT. I'll put the link inside of chat. That way you can click it and you can open it up yourself. And what are we going to do? We're going to take a prompt and we're going to post it right into ChatGPT. So here's the prompt I'm giving you. I'm kind of shortcutting this whole process a bit because there is an art to crafting a very accurate and responsible prompts that will give you back the best results. So I'm shortcutting that process for you, but go ahead, copy this prompt that you see inside of chat and paste it into ChatGPT. And what is it asking? We're going to design a marketing strategy for next year using detailed campaign performance data that we already have in our account. Radio, email, social media, paid search, everything we kind of spent on, and prioritizing those based on what's going to generate the best results for us and the best return on our ad spend. And then go ahead and suggest to us how you would spend $2 million towards those objectives and then export it out. And what do we get back from ChatGPT? Well, in order to generate and export this out, you'll need to log in and use some Python tools, and it gives you this code to score each channel and allocate this out. You know what? I'm not a coder. I'm not a heavy coder. I can do some light stuff. I don't know about you. You probably don't want to mess with this kind of thing. So this, obviously, ChatGPT is missing the mark here. If you have a Microsoft 365 account, you can open up Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat. I put a link to it right there inside of the meeting chat, so you can open it up here. And then you know what you can do? You can copy that same prompt, and now you can paste it up in here. Now you're looking at essentially a similar interface. This is the prompt window down here, and you'll notice you don't have the premium license. You don't have this work web toggle, but we'll kind of start with this on the web. And you do have, however, this button for try GPT-5. What that is doing is turning on Copilot with GPT-5. Learn more about it. That's the most current model you can get over at OpenAI. ChatGPT-5. Now, what it's going to do is run this same prompt. Go ahead and send it in. And it's still missing a piece of the equation here, because what we're asking it to do is go into our actual information and pull out of that your recommendations for how we might spend again next year. So ChatGPT doesn't have that information. We could upload that, we could attach it, put our document in. What happens then? Well, there's no data protection over here. When you send in a document into ChatGPT, it goes right into its engine. The large language model trains itself on your data, and then that data becomes theirs. It's public, and it can even show up again when somebody runs this. It's another one of their sources, as well as web, that it can provide to somebody else. There's no data protection there. However, over here on the Microsoft 365 side, these prompts and any information you may put into Copilot is going to stay within the confines of your account. Look at this green shield. You see this green shield up here in the right-hand corner? Enterprise data protection applies to this chat. Go ahead and click that link. And if you really want to know more about exactly how Microsoft is honoring the agreement that it has to keep your data all private and not train the large language model on your prompts or your responses or the data you put into it, and keeping it all in the confines of your tenant, then you can read all the way through this. But I'm trying to save you a little bit of time. It's all in there. What is data protection? All of that. So everything that's happening inside of Microsoft 365 Copilot, all contained, all protected. And guess what? It's all private to you. Your boss can't see it. Your supervisor can't see it. The CEO can't see it. It's just between you and Copilot. And so when we look at this, it's giving us a suggestion for how to kind of follow this information. How would we do it, right? Here's how you might get a conversion rate and prioritize channels off of it and allocate a budget. That's a pretty good breakdown, right? Do a lot in search, a little bit less in email. It's kind of, a lot less in radio. And then export it out. So it can actually kind of do that type of data, but it's not really working off of your actual campaign performance. And that's what we want. This is where then the premium license that does give you the ability to connect then to your work data. This is where you can enter in this same prompt, and you can reference the document where your campaign performance information is stashed away. See this little plus sign? This allows you to add stuff into it, which isn't publicized, isn't trained. It's all contained here. So I can look for work content, anything that happens to be in SharePoint Online and Teams and OneDrive and all of these locations. This is where all this stuff lives. All the people that you interact with, all the meetings that you're a part of, all the email messages that you send, all the chats and the sites and the other stuff. So I'm looking for a particular file. I'm actually looking for this one. This is where I'm keeping our actual performance data. Now, when I send this prompt and ask it to design information based on this spreadsheet, which has actual concrete information across those different marketing channels, now it can give me a really good contextual, relevant recommendation on how I might spend $2 million of my boss's money. And it's taking a moment. It's actually going through, conducting the analysis on what it sees inside that sheet. And I'm going to bring that sheet up later because it becomes part of how we see and how we can demonstrate the capabilities of Copilot in these applications. So here's how I approached your request. First, I analyzed your campaign data. I extracted detailed campaign performance from the lead gen sheet. Great. I calculated key metrics, the conversion rate, the return on ad spend, and then I aggregated it all by channel. And then I ranked them using a combined performance score. And then I distributed the recommended $2 million budget proportionally to the performance. And I found the top 3 campaigns received budget allocations to their proportional to their scores, and then I exported it all out into a spreadsheet for your review. That's what it did in that, what was it, 45 seconds? Key insights, the channels of the highest performance, and campaign prioritization. So channels of the highest performance got the largest share. Good, because it's returning the best results for us. We might as well make it happen again. Assumption that performance will equal past history. Only the top performing campaigns within each channel were funded, maximizing expected lead generation ROI. Go ahead and download it. So before I download it, notice from that, just like all the other models, and you can look at this across the board, by doing all of this work, Copilot also suggests what you might want to do with this information further, or how I can further support you based on your prompt and what I found doing this. Do you want a summary of which channels and campaigns received the most budget, or a visualization of the allocation? Let me know how you want to proceed. Then there's all the sources that it has. Here's the data I put in. And then suggested follow-up, summarizing top channels and campaigns, and explain how ROAS influenced the budget distribution, just in case my boss wants to know why I'm spending his or her money that way. So let's open this spreadsheet up now. Click it, download, and open it up, and it comes out like this. So this is exactly how it recommends spending this out. So, and let me zoom in so you guys have a better view of all of this. So here's the performance score of these different campaigns. And let's turn it into a percent to make it easier to see. There we go. And here's the budget that it recommends for these different campaigns. And let's turn this into money. And all of this adds up to, look at that, 2 million to the penny. So I can from this go, oh yeah, well now I can see which channels generated the top. There's 50% there, 49, 47, 48. Damn, this is a good year on the marketing front. But of course, it's only taken the tops. So great way then to accomplish the objective. Now, perhaps you could follow along with me through that whole process. It might have taken you, you might have had to stop at a certain point, but you can see that Microsoft is exposing this functionality to you in Copilot Chat so that you can get to it. And I'm going to kind of hide OpenAI over here, but this Copilot Chat function is available to everybody, regardless of their license, as long as they're in their Microsoft account, and it uses the web as the primary source. It's with the premium license that we now add on the work capabilities. So that's all great and dandy. How do these results compare between OpenAI and Copilot? Well, OpenAI gave me some code, right? And Copilot gave me, and if I go back, hey, where'd that all go? Here's our conversations right here. So it gave me even some steps on how to do it, even if it didn't have the work data. And then on the work side, this history, all available, saved away. This was the real daddy. This gave me the exact approach and everything I wanted from it based on that complex prompt. So you be the judge. How do they compare? Is there a way to improve this process? Analyzing our campaign data, making some data-driven decisions for our strategy going forward? Is there a better part of your process that you may be using inside of your company? I'll leave that as an open question. Do feel free to comment again in the meeting chat, as well as feel free to raise your hand. The easiest way to improve this process is to improve the actual prompt itself. And that is, again, that's a whole other subject we just can't get into today. But we do want to get to some further capabilities. We want to see additional Copilot features in action. And these use cases, again, kind of focus around the customer lifecycle. Let's say that we do our marketing spend, and now sales and our service teams are at play inside of managing these customers. So let's now use another aspect of AI to use predictive analysis. You've probably heard of this, which is taking actual information and identifying new opportunities, new recommendations. We did something similar to this in the last prompt. But here we're going to target some high return customer segments. And I'm going to do it based on actual data because it makes it more interesting that way. So I'm going to go back to this spreadsheet. This is the lead generation tab that Copilot made its assumptions based off of its marketing strategy. And we can see Copilot, where is it? It's over here. Copilot will appear on the right-hand side of the home tab of your ribbon, and it will open up this tab. Let's analyze together. Yeah, great, let's do it. You can see there's some different suggestions that it has already that are kind of built in, and you can see more for some additional things. It can actually write a formula for you or analyze the data using a regression analysis. I don't even know what that means. But what I want to do is pull up a prompt and see where we can kind of apply this. What I'd like to know is, from all of these, let's go to a different tab. Let's go to our call down sheet. This is all of our customers, how many purchases they've made with us year to date, how much they've spent, and their contact information. It's all fictitious. I make this stuff up as I go. But I really want Copilot to help me out and tell me, here's the prompt. Which 5 customers have the highest spend year to date? Now, I probably could go and I could kind of filter by spend year to date, but imagine this was thousands or thousands of line entries. It could go through and conduct that analysis. And it'll, and let me actually, as you can see, it's kind of putting it in its table. Let me draw this out a little bit. And it's identified these top ones here. Emily Smith, Leo Pink, Pinnacle Partners. Terrific. So this is, here's the top 5. Good. Now what I want to know is something, let's see if we can infer something, because we have a lot of data here. We have their contact information, and that includes where they live, at least where their office is. Let's try something else. Let's try which 5 states have the highest spend per purchase. Now for that, what would I have to do? I'd probably have to build a pivot table and drop in information and then pull out state as the rows, and then the values would be average spend. I have to find the average button. I mean, that would be kind of a challenge to do. But what it's doing is reading down through all of this, and it's finding Arkansas has the highest spend per purchase, followed by Idaho, Hawaii, Alaska, and Illinois. Not the ones we thought. That's great. So this is the type of information that you can do. You can pull from this. And now that I know this information, now we can put it to work in another application. So now that we've kind of targeted who our customer segments that have the highest return, obviously we could slice those segments even more. Let's craft a specialized offer and generate a campaign, shall we? Let's go over to Word. Putting up Word. With the premium license, you'll see these suggestions up above here, and you'll see a window. What do you want Copilot to draft? But now, Microsoft has made Copilot available for everybody, even without the premium license. You will see a Copilot button on the right side of the Home tab, and that will allow you to open up this pane on the right-hand side. It probably won't feature this work here. It can source the web, and it does have contextual awareness of the document that we're in, so we can work something together, and it will be utilizing what the document or the file we're working in. So now I'm going to give you, because you can do this, and we're not really using any data for it, I'm going to throw another prompt into chat for you to copy and paste. And hold on 1 second here. I'm going to get these. You can copy and paste this right into your Copilot window inside of Word. Grab it, copy, paste, and send it. Now I know who my customers in high spending states are: Arkansas, Alaska. No, actually, I have those wrong. Need AR. There we go. These guys. AR, Idaho, Hawaii, Illinois. AR, Idaho, Hawaii, Illinois. Or we could also be referencing the file, and it would be pulling from that too. Go ahead and generate that. Copilot will now look for this. It's going to, of course, tailor this to buyers and purchase managers. And it's using some information that it's found here. Look, it found for me 6 different source files. And it is now, so it has a PDF here, Forrester document, a partner email campaign that I've done with Admiral. It's referencing some outside sources, smartly.ai, Ramata.co, Omnisend. I don't even know who these are, but it's finding those relevant, and it generates this out. Subject, welcome back, body, and here's the body. We can insert the state, redeem your discount. This offer is designed to help you maximize your budget and streamline procurement, right? It's talking their language. Best regards, and then it has some that follow on, and a second email, social proof. Here's what we're getting from our other purchase managers. These are fictitious. I didn't make these up. I think it did. So we'll probably have to go find some that are legit and plug them in. And then last chance and urgency. Yes, buy now or you lose out on this deal. Expire soon. Redeem your discount before it's done. And then an explanation. Why? This is what Copilot's good about doing, is providing the why of how it got to what it delivered to you, just like it did on the previous version there. Do you want these emails formatted for your CRM? Or do you need help with subject line A/B testing or automation setup? You know what? You get some great things here. So look at these buttons down here below. Add to doc. You can copy it out and put it into some other application. Share the prompt and the response with someone else. And you can also tell it, oh, I like something, I don't like something. This is good because this is your way to train the model on what you like and don't. So you can kind of pat it on the head or slap it on the wrist, depending on its responses to you. Go ahead and click Add to Doc. Boom, it's in. And now you can go off and start modifying this. So I'm going to save this document. I'm going to save it to my desktop where I can build this out. Terrific, right? Okay. That we did. Generate a campaign, specialized offer, we're going. Obviously, again, we're kind of streamlining this, but let's say that the marketing yield that great information on spending, and we took it, we sent that campaign. Guess what? We get a nibble. Now we get an RFP from a very large corporation. We want to create a proposal that outlines exactly what we can do for them, product options, pricing, value-added services. So we're going to analyze an RFP and create a proposal and a presentation for that. It helps if you have a RFP to work off of. Of course, if you needed to go find one, Copilot is great with this. Go to the upper right-hand corner, start a new chat, and say, hey, can you find me? Better yet, go down here to this Start Dictation button. Please suggest an offering of 5 different RFPs in my files, period. Review OneDrive, comma, SharePoint, comma, and Teams. There we go. Oops, I got to turn it off. There we go. So now have Copilot go look for it. In fact, this kind of whole new experience, you'll see searches at the top of it. And when you go looking for documents, most of us are looking through a lot of files to find what we want. It'll suggest, if you don't find it, like in the first 10 or so that it suggests, it'll say, go ahead and use Copilot to go find it. It's got access to everything. So it can go and retrieve this information, augment it as it needs to, generate content from it as you need to, and it will find these. Now I know I've got one, so I'm going to wait to see what it generates. But first I'm going to come over here because I see there's a question. When using the free Copilot version, is our data private within our tenant and not used to train models? Or do we have to buy the full version of Copilot to get that protection? No, it is free. If you're in your Microsoft account, that means you've logged in and you see this green shield, you are protected 100%. That's all you need to know. Okay, great. And now, so what it's done is it pulled up 5 different RFPs. Now, mine are not around manufacturing. I don't do that work, but I'm going to pull one of these, for example, and then use it. So I'm going to use this one, this RFP. So you can open it up. We're now in Word. You guys like the new logos Microsoft's putting out on its apps? I just noticed these yesterday when I was opening up PowerPoint. So here it is. Great. Here's Copilot. Open it up. It's available. Open Copilot on the right-hand pane. Hello. I can summarize this. I can create FAQs. I can suggest next steps. I'm going to say summarize this file. And it'll conduct that summary and give that information back. So this is RFP issued by this company. Here's what they're looking for. The overview. Develop a phased AI roadmap. What else does it have in here? Expand this out again. About the company. Project objectives, kind of spells it all out. Scope of work. 4 phases. Deliverables. Vendor qualifications. Proposal submission requirements, and the timeline. Missed the boat on this one, but you get it, right? And then submission instructions. So it kind of spells it all out. This is great. Now we can ask it some interesting questions. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to drop another prompt into here. Hopefully you have an RFP open on your side and you've summarized it too. So go to chat, and I'm just putting a very simple one in here. Identify the requirements within this RFP and what services are necessary to make an ideal offer. Paste that and click go. So now, based on what it understands of this document, now it can outline these pretty heavily and build out what we think will make a great offer for this. Okay, let's go back up here. overview, approach, deliverables, team bios, timeline, duration, fee structure, client references. All right, so we can get to work on all of these. Now imagine, here's the ideal offer: the assessment, the inventory, recommendations, enablement and training, and all the deliverables that we can quote for them, the timeline, submission instructions, all that. So now we've kind of got something from this. This is a great way. Now we can take this to the next level. We can actually build a proposal based on what it understands of this. I'm going to give you another prompt. I am, of course, going to also give you a disclaimer as we do this. There's the prompt. And I'm going to paste it in here. And I'm going to send mine. So the disclaimer I'm going to give you is we're right now going through this really quickly because we're all stuck in here for only an hour and we really need more time to do all this in detail. But you should always validate and vet the sources that Copilot returns back to you. It is only as good as what you give it, what data it's working on, and how it generates this. So to make sure that it's not hallucinating or over-generating in an area where it's making assumptions, you should always vet these out. So here's a comprehensive proposal. Executive summary, project plan. Oh, it's still building this out. Phase 3, yeah, it's still going. But I think you can see here now, it's doing what we asked it to do: develop this proposal, address requirements, provide a detailed proposal with summary, project plan, timeline, budget, any other necessary sections. And it's still going. It's kind of writing as it goes. Yep, still going, vendor qualifications. Hopefully you're seeing something similar on your side. What I want to do when we're done here is to actually build this out into a new document. Terrific. Great. Now we can copy this. Now we can open up Word. We can go to a brand new document, paste it in, and we've got the skeleton of what we need. I'm going to save this document because I'm going to show you something else with this. This is going to be our FB. So now we built this out. What's our last task here? Creating a presentation. So let's go to PowerPoint. And let's create a brand new file there. Open a blank one. I'll bring it over. And with with Copilot Chat, that's already kind of still built into the standard license that you have, Copilot Paint is available here on the right. With the premium license, you'll be able to do some other stuff here too. You see this little icon up here: create a new presentation, with file, add a slide, different stuff, ask Copilot, create a new presentation with file. Because now what we can do is we can go find the proposal that we built. I wonder if it's built in here yet, if it's indexed. Let's go to my desktop. So now I'm kind of navigating around to get to my files. Desktop. Proposal for RFP. I want you to use this. Use this document. You can't find it right now. What are you talking about? I just gave it to you. Yes, that's the one. Great. Create a presentation about this and send that prompt. So now it's reading the Word doc, and from that, it's fashioning out what's going to be our presentation so we can pitch this to this customer. comprehensive AI assessment, project overview. So you see what it's done is built out an outline. All of these are different slides, as it's noted here. So we can go through, we can trash different areas out, we can add other areas in, add new topics, submit it. Go ahead and click Generate Slides. So you can take your time to, of course, build that outline, clean it up, get it exactly the way you want to do it. But then, now the fun begins, because now Copilot gets a little bit creative. It'll go in, it'll organize those slides, it'll generate the content for them, it'll put in text that it lifts out of that Word document. It'll even add images, different layouts, talking points. It'll put in the designs that I think kind of fits best. So it's got even like section divider slides. It builds this all out. And then it'll spit it all out for us. This is one of the time savers I love. See, there you go. How many? 27 slides. Conclusion, fee structure, timeline duration, client references. I don't know if you can see these small pieces here. And each one of these, right? If you're like, I don't like the way this looks, you can always use design suggestions and apply in some different recommendations. Great way to easily translate these into action. So I'm going to skip ahead because I want to get to some agents. And we've been kind of throwing these out at a whole, but everybody wants automation. Everybody wants the ability to streamline your processes. And an agent fulfills that definition. It's a software program. It can perceive different things about its environment. It can perceive triggers that occur. It can make decisions. It can generate information. It can retrieve information. And then it can act autonomously to achieve specific goals. So in manufacturing, there's several different use cases you can have for these. And really, there's no limit for these agents. Automating your inventory management, so streamlining how you track your stock, ordering, forecasting. These things can integrate with your ERP solution. Hopefully that's Dynamics and you're working with Admiral because of that. Production scheduling optimization, so analyzing production lines, like taking that information in and optimizing them, reducing downtime. Quality control automation, these are powering workflows that can detect defects in the product generation. It can create inspection documents. It can maintain compliance and reports. Collaboration with your suppliers, like communicating and sharing documents. And of course, predictive maintenance. So this is where the predictive analysis now comes from your equipment data so that you can schedule the maintenance proactively instead of waiting for the breakdown to occur. So these agents, they can read information from different things. The way that we've seen Copilot reading your account information is the same way that agents can access other systems, can access IoT, can access your devices on the floor, and orchestrates the entire operation. So even agents in front of the other ones that are communicating and orchestrating these operations between different agents. So to really show how this might come across, I wanted us to build our own agent. We're going to do a really simple one because I obviously don't have the time to code a connector while we're sitting here. But let's say we want an agent that can allow workers on the factory floor to ask a natural language query that can identify information about a specific asset or supplies, or in this case, error codes in their application. So their panel on the wall is saying there's an error, and we want to create an agent that they can ask to give it back the what the error means and some type of resolution for that. So once again, I'm going to give you a very lengthy prompt here in meeting chat. And this is something you can do whether you have the premium license or not. Come back over here to Copilot. And I think agents will be one of the first menus you'll see on the left, right below the chat function. There's all kinds of agents. There's agents that do research, deep research, that take like 10 minutes or so to run through competitive analyses or create limitations on product information. The analyst agent. This is great for comparing massive spreadsheets against each other, providing quick insights, generating new content based on on the data you provided. I'm going to show you one more because it's my favorite, because you may be scratching your head. How do I create these prompts? Prompt Coach, that allows you to kind of put in here, what are you trying to do? And it'll recommend to you the best prompt or fix a prompt that doesn't give you the best results. We're going to come down here to this link that says Create Agent. Click it. And this is opening up Copilot Studio Lite. This is the easy version of Copilot Studio. You can see you're a new agent where you can describe or configure the agent. We'll see configure in just a second, but it's here to help build an agent. Start by describing what you want it to do, and it shows you a bunch of the different templates that are in here. Go ahead, paste the prompt I gave you. So this support assistant. We want to help our guys on the floor, multilingual support so they can ask it in different languages. Here we're saying English, Spanish, German. When they ask about an application error code, it's going to go find the internal documentation, come back with a resolution or troubleshooting steps. And now it says your agent is set up to do this work. It'll search internal documentation, respond in English, Spanish, or German, and escalate unresolved responses to a supervisor via email. I'm going to put an asterisk on that and come back to it in just a second. Let's choose a name, Factory Support Assistant. How does that sound? Great. Let's do it. Of course, you can rename it at this point. We can rename it at any point in the future. We're just going to take this to get it going. And you can see over here on this side what that agent would look like. This is a declarative agent, so it's going to go and retrieve and augment and generate information from what we're doing. Now let's refine what it's going to do. Could you specify any particular codes, error codes, applications, or troubleshooting steps? Is there any documentation sources it should use? Yes, use the, and I'm going to grab a, from my desktop, I have a document that has all the error codes. Excel file on my desktop. URL isn't valid. Let me go and try. let me. So you see, it is like looking for external documentation. I'm just going to see if I can drag this over. Copy it in. No. This is the point where I have to now go to configure in the back end. So we'll go to this configure tab, and you can see the details that we have here. Here's our name. Here's the description. Here's the instructions. Knowledge. This is the source that the agent will use. And so here I can enter, I can just drop a file or enter a name or a URL. Let's drag my file over and drop it. And so it uploads that directly in. Now it makes this available as the source. Instead of the internet, it's going to go here. Perfect. And then here are the suggested prompts that turn into these here. So now I've got Spanish support, German, troubleshooting steps, resolution, escalate. Great. So it's prepping the knowledge. We can start to even test this now. Let's try it. So I'm going to open this up. Somebody pick a number between 1 and 300. Go ahead and type that into chat. I'll pick one while you guys are thinking of one. I'll go down here to like, I don't know, 180, 174, GUI 136. And we'll come back to GUI 136. And of course, we're going to ask this as if in natural language. Eric, thank you. I'll use yours for the second one. I see error. What does it mean? I'm asking the agent. How's it processing? It's going to that source. It's pulling it out. And GUI 136 means please enter an integer between 0 and 101. Is that what it means? Yes, that's exactly what it means right there. Typically appears when user inputs a value outside the range. If you're seeing this error, double check the field. Make sure you put it in there. Do you want some additional help? So it's kind of done it for us. Cool. Let's start a new chat. Let's test it again. 272. That is 272. Go down a couple pages. 272. That's going to be GUI 248. Okay, so just for us, it's date time tags. Okay, date time tags. Even better. Hey, ¿qué pasa? GUI 248, right? We're using some Spanish here. It'll process this. Again, the natural language on the processing of the input and then the response. My Spanish is very poor, but el código de error, there's the one significa, and so it's translated this. Can you translate that response to English, please? Always ask please. You never know when they will come back. Okay, so let's see if it can do it. And then certainly. Okay, good. So that's what it means. That's the example of this. And this is just one particular use case, right? So this allows you to kind of create these. You can test them. You can run them. But really, the magic of all of this happens as you map out what your processes are. You just take your SOPs and you can find these opportunities where friction or time is lost. That's the best place to create one of these agents because you operationalize that process. You make it available easy for the user. Comment over here. Assume the agent you demonstrated requires the paid Copilot. Does it require any additional licenses or fees for people to create the agent or for non-technical users to use the agent? For non-premium licensed users, they can use the agent, which is great because then you can have a cadre of people that are developing these agents in-house with the premium licenses that then can turn them out, can share them. We didn't even get to that fun part, but you can now share this with others. Create, help. I have to actually create it in order for it to be shared out. But then it becomes available once they open that link the first time, then they can access it here on the left-hand side of their Copilot screen that they're using all the time. Agent created successfully. If I was to share this link with you, you wouldn't be able to get to it because it's in my tenant. But that's what they look like. Isn't that neat? Link only works for you. Change the sharing settings. So then you get it out in front of everybody. And in terms of can somebody build it, if you're seeing this experience, then you can build them. I have to go back and I'll take an action item because I think that you can still build them as part of your non-premium license, your standard business. Microsoft 365 license. There's plenty more to do this. It really is only limited by the use cases as we saw, but there's a whole module working behind all of these agents, and that is Copilot Studio, where you can go and create agents with different capabilities. And there's tons of different templates. There's chock full of learning resources, different workflows you can set up, tools you can apply. And of course, this opens up different connectors so that you can connect this to your ERP, to different data sources you may have, to components inside of Azure. Pretty much anything you can do inside and connect inside Azure, you can do here. And the ceiling's the limit. Variance analysis, finance, store operations, sustainability insights, help desk. Lots of these are perfect for reducing the volume of queries that go out to your support teams in HR, in IT, in operations. This takes you along. As you can see, the Microsoft vision is here we are in phase 1 where Copilot is an assistant, but stepping up now, we can have humans that lead these agents, that create them, share them with others to support that operational structure that leads you over then to phase 3, where there's a couple humans monitoring, managing these agents for the entire team and offloading all of those manual works and time lost searching for things. That's where we're headed. It's why they say that every leader kind of needs a new blueprint. So I'll skip past all of this stuff because we're just about out of time. If you want to know more, give us a ring. Daniel and I can sit down with you in a 1-hour private free consultation with you and your team. We'll go through an agenda that'll actually run an assessment on your technical readiness, your operational readiness, and your human readiness as well, and give you back a report with a score, green, yellow, red, and you'll have that you can then take to the powers that be. You can just scan this QR code. It'll lead you to a meeting link where you can book that with us. We'll assess your different tools. We'll talk about data security. That's part of the equation. As Dan and his team know, it wraps everything: adoption, deployment, all of that. So feel free to reach out. I'm going to turn now and see if we've got any questions left for us here in the last minute. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Glad to help out. Thanks for the great questions, Eric. We are at the top of the hour. Dan, any last words you want to add?
No, I think that was really, it's a lot of information in 1 hour, and Jason, it's all about absorbing the info. But we'll send this recording out. You guys can take a look at it, but just think about some simple examples. Most recently we had a client that wanted to build an HR app and put it into Teams for his employees to access. So those are, we can guide you along in that process, but really the first step is really to do a readiness assessment and see if you guys are ready. And I think a lot of companies are, and they just don't know it. So if you guys want to get started, let us know. We'd be glad to set up another meeting with you, and we'll get you started on your AI journey.
Beautiful. Thanks, everybody, for staying along and for coming back this week after the shenanigans last. We'll talk to you again soon.
See you later. Bye-bye.